Researchers estimate that we think about 50,000 to 70,000 thoughts a day, and that about 80% of those thoughts are negative. Studies show that your thoughts also have a physical impact on your body. Take a polygraph test, commonly referred to as a lie detector test. They demonstrate how your thoughts directly influence your blood pressure, muscle tension, temperature, breathing rate, heart rate, even how much your hands sweat. When you experience the effects of negative thoughts, such as thoughts that create the emotional states of fear, anger, anxiety, guilt, shame, or regret, the muscles in your body actually become weaker. Your stress level goes up, you experience changes in your biochemistry and hormone levels, and you may even suffer gastrointestinal or digestive problems, among other physical symptoms. So many physical effects leave us with the question of how to relieve ourselves from all those negative conversations and eliminate all the suffering. Today on Women Who Boss Up, we will talk about how to get over our crap and the crappy conversation that goes with it. Hey there, super women. I am excited today to have this conversation with these amazing authors of the new book, Women Who Boss Up in Health, Wellness, and Lifestyle. I'm excited to have these four ladies because we're going to be talking about a special conversation that, it sounds funny on the surface, but we all know that we can relate. Getting over your crap. And we can get over crap. We have crap in so many different parts of our life that we know we have to get over. And so we're going to be talking about some different ways to get over it, some different things that we've experienced about getting over our crap. And I'm excited to have with me these lovely ladies. So first of all, today I have Beverly Zimmett. She's Identity Revelations Specialist from Alternative Solutions with Results. Beverly, how are you?
Oh, I am wonderful, and it's such a delight to be here with these amazing women and you and what you're doing. It's a blessing. I'm so excited. So
Thank
excited.
you, Beverly. Thank you so much. And I'm also very excited to have Miss Lori Marini, who's a motivational life wellness and cancer coach with Lori Marini Coaching. Lori, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me. This is truly an honor.
Awesome. And Christine Harper, life coach and from Powerhouse Motivations. Christine, how are you?
I am wonderful. So glad to be here.
Awesome. So first of all, I want to really dig into this conversation around getting over your crap, because I know that that is such a big deal for a lot of us. Okay, we spend a lot of time dwelling in things that are not necessarily going to benefit us, and focusing on things that are not going to move us forward. And a lot of it has to do with what we call mindset, right? So we're digging more deeply into the whole idea of mindset. So I want to start with Beverly, because I know Beverly, she's been in business for a long time. She's done different types of business, and her story is powerful. Like, if you haven't heard her, I had her on my podcast about a month or so ago, and I met her like earlier this year. But she has talk about getting over your crap in a big way. I know that her story will show you just that. So Beverly, tell me a little bit about you, your experience with business, and how you relate to that.
I've been in business since I was like 10 years old when I first started babysitting outside of the house. And I'm second oldest of 11. So you want to talk about getting rid of a lot of crap? There's a lot, there's a lot of crap going on when you got that many kids running around, right? And so as you grow up in life, and I grew up fighting. Oh my gosh. I was always in competition with my brothers because I was my dad's son until my brother came along. And then to double trouble, there was another one come a year later. And it's like, oh my gosh. But again, it's learning how to move beyond that. And it took a long time to be able to get over that. It was actually, let's put it this way, I was born in 49. And it wasn't until the mid to late 80s is when I finally gave up fighting for my dad's attention as his son. You know, so sometimes you can get over crap really fast and other times not so much, right? But growing up in a family of that many kids, you learn a lot and you really bond together because there wasn't a whole lot of private mom time and dad time, so to speak. So most of it was around your siblings. And it's interesting when you look back over the years of where you bonded and with the different siblings at different things that were going on in your life. It was really quite interesting. And even now into our adult lives, it's been real interesting.
That's
But
awesome. I tell you what, I remember this story when we were talking about when you started your automobile industry, that, you know, this business. Oh my goodness. There was, and just when you left your husband and when you, so many things. And I want to just say this too, to a lot of you that are looking and wondering, you know, when she says she was born in 49, yes, this young woman has more energy than most women that I've ever met still. So she has a wealth of knowledge. She's done a lot of stuff. And when you say get over your crap, she's done it many, many times. So I'm very inspired by you, Beverly. So tell me a little bit about that.
oh gosh, well, my journey actually finding my own identity, and that's why I went into the identity revelation, because if you don't know who you are, then you don't know what you want to do, where you want to go, and what you want to be. And so I always wanted to outshine the men, right? So I went into a man's business, right? But that was part of finding my identity as well. Getting married, I had lost my identity. I changed my name, everything, and never really realized it until about 4 years into that marriage. What am I doing here? I'm at a dead end, right? I have 3 kids all under the age of 5. I'm not going to follow my mother's footsteps, right? I'm not supposed to be living in Iowa. I'm supposed to be out in the world traveling and doing all these great things, right? And I was right on the edge of suicide, you know, and that, I guess that was my biggest pile of crap to get over that. And having an intuitiveness and just knowing I was called weird because I just knew things before people would do them. But listening to that voice that says, who's going to take care of your kids when you're not here, was my biggest wake up call. And it's like, okay, that means it's a long time because they're all under the age of 5. And so we fast forward, you know, because the voice said I could have all these things that I listed out. So I ended up getting a divorce, moving out of Iowa, a little farm country, into the big city of Denver, Colorado. I ended up getting into my own business selling sandpaper. I was in the automotive industry selling parts prior to leaving, and just started selling sandpaper, and it just one thing led to another and to another. I had this big old truck that I was driving. My store was in the back end. It was great, and my trucks are purple, by the way. So I did have a message, right? Is oh, I loved purple all my life, you know, and I decided someday I'm going to have a purple house. Well, guess what? I lived in that truck more than I did in my house, and so it was purple with hot pink accents and a big orchid on the side, you know. And so people didn't forget who I was. But again, it's that building communications, and that automotive business actually put me into the business that I am now because it really helped me discover who I was and who I am. And it's also what helped me really realize that, wait a minute, I'm not my dad's son. I don't have to prove anything to anybody anymore. I need to start proving things to myself and just become me. That was this whole thing with identity. When I got my divorce, I took my maiden name back, and I swore at that point that, you know what, I will never change my name again because that's my identity, right? And so that's kind of been some of that crap getting over, and then moving out of the automotive industry after oh my gosh, was like 18 years. 9 of it spent in Denver, sold that business, moved down to Las Vegas, kind of started up just one part of it because I ended up going not only into the body shops, I was in in the mechanical, and I was also in detail. So anything you want to know about cars, I can tell you. I can tear an engine apart and put it back together, but I don't want to get my hands dirty like that anymore. But you do what you need to do. But all of these things you wouldn't, you think, okay, well, that was history. But when I hit the road in 97 and I really started following my dream in the spiritual work and the holistic healing and that whole avenue, it was great, the knowledge that I had, because I lived in an RV. And if there was something, running wrong with it, I knew exactly what it was. So I didn't have to worry about where I went into mechanics, and say, hey, I've got this issue, right? They're not going to tell me something that, oh, well, hey, here's this little chick, we'll just take her to the cleaners, right? I don't think so.
That is
Right?
so funny.
And so you just learn these things over time, and your past, every lesson you learn in life gets you through something, because you can look at your crap as being an obstacle. So any obstacle in life, when you overcome that, start doing the happy dance, because I'll tell you, it really does make you feel good, and it makes you stronger, makes you more confident, gives you that drive to just keep on going. What's next? Come on, bring it on, right? Just bring it on. And I'm one of these that just, I'll try anything once, and if I like it, I'll do it again.
I love it. Well, that's why you've had such a very full, very colorful, very amazing life. Consistently getting over your crap, which I love that when you say crap is any obstacle, really. And so you learn how to get over any obstacle. And so thank you so much for that. Was so good. But I'm going to talk about Lori Marini as well, because I know she had another big, and I almost don't want to call it crap, right? But a big obstacle, that comes into your way. I think when I first met you, I was amazed by, you had a podcast and you were talking about cancer. You were already in the health and wellness industry, but because of this big obstacle that you had to deal with, that you got, you were able to kind of pivot and become such an advocate to help people on the other side of cancer. So we won't call it getting over your crap, we'll call it getting over your cancer, right? Getting over your obstacle around that. So tell me a little bit about that.
So, as Beverly put it, where she knows the ins and outs of cars or engines, I know the ins and outs of the human body. So I spent the past 20 years working in the healthcare industry as a pathology PA. So you can consider me a tumor expert. So when I went for my baseline mammogram and I was diagnosed with stage 2 cancer, breast cancer, I knew what I needed to do, but the entire process left me overwhelmed. And it was in that moment of taking care of myself, and still, I was getting treated where I worked. I knew everything about the building. I knew where to park. I knew where to go to the bathroom, where the cafeteria was, but I was still overwhelmed by the entire process. And I realized at that moment that if I felt this way, like, how do other people do it? And so it really set me down the path of what I truly feel blessed doing. Is I work with women who have gone through a similar crisis, who are dealing with a chronic illness, and I support them in getting beyond their fear. So our version of crap is really like the fear of reoccurrence. It's something that never leaves us. And I really just support them of like, pay attention to that little voice. Like, it's fine, acknowledge it, but move forward. And the thing too that I find that my clients really struggle with is that they are just paralyzed, right? And what people sometimes fail to realize is that not making a decision is actually your decision. And so what I work through with them is to recognize where they are, what they're dealing with, what the fear is, And then we just create something great for them to live into. Like we create a whole new future beyond the reoccurrence, the fear of the reoccurrence. And we also stand in, you know, if something is going to happen, then we're going to deal with it. So we talk about giving yourself grace. We talk about keep moving forward, even though it doesn't look perfect. And we, you know, and the one thing too that I always like to remind people is that it's not going to look like the way you want it to. Like you're going to get what you ask for, but it may not show up the way that you thought it would. And so, you know, we just really, it's so important to make sure that you're true to yourself, you're true to what you want for your life, and to have the courage to just keep moving forward. Just take that first small step. And even if that means that you're taking it, you know, life a second at a time, like it's okay. And you'll get through it.
Totally, totally okay.
Yeah.
What would you recommend for them to calm the doubt in their mind? Because, you know, we can say this, you know, there's always something that comes up, no matter what is going on, whatever the situation is, whatever the big obstacle is, but to calm the mind.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It's definitely mindset. Like you mentioned, it's a muscle that you need to really start working. It's something where you just need to stand in faith that no matter what your decision that you make is going to be the right one for you. And also acknowledge that sometimes you make mistakes, right? Like maybe we shouldn't, like we joke around all the time about the fact that we're supposed to, you know, not have alcohol. We're not supposed to eat certain foods. Like I'm not supposed to eat dairy, but if you put a piece of pizza in front of me, like I'm going to eat it, right? It's just what I love. So you choose what battles you're going to face. And it's one of those things of just allowing yourself to recognize that it's not always going to be, you know, you're going to make some mistakes in life, but it's okay. Like you're going to rectify it. You're still going to be able to live. And, you know, the other thing too, that I do every day is every day when I wake up, I thank the universe or God or whoever you believe in. Like I made it through the night. I am here to enjoy this day, another day.
So good.
And that just helps me, like whatever doubt I have in my mind and every little ache and pain that happens and I'm like, oh my God, it's back. You know what? I got today.
That's right.
I got today.
That's right. Oh man, so good. So very good. I also want to invite you guys to Women Who Boss Up Summit. If you're trying to get to 6 figures, if that is your next goal, then you want to come to this summit because it's going to really break it down exactly how I did it, how a lot of other people did it. And you'll notice we have 16 women that are sharing about their business.
If you don't celebrate you, how can you expect someone else to celebrate you?
Girl, it is okay for you to want more. Good is the enemy of great.
You can be and do anything that you want. You just need to work really hard for it.
Take the word can't out of your vocabulary.
Right. Motivation is just about just getting up and doing things.
I find the possible in the impossible world that I live.
So if you have not started making the steps to shift in your business or shift in your life or shift in your health, you know, you don't miss this opportunity to do so. Now I want to go on to Christine Harper. Now I met Christine about a year ago, and she has had some battles in her life. You know, she's had some difficulties that have come up. And one of the things that I've noticed about Christine is that she always remains with a smile on her face. She's always that person who, to me, seemingly, I mean, I'm sure she screams at some point, but she always seems like she's in a good mood. So, but she hasn't had it always easy. So I just want to pick your brain around, first of all, a little bit about your background, a little bit about some of the things that you have had to go through as we relate to crap and how you've gotten over it, because I'm sure that people are going to take all these little nuggets and hopefully it'll help them as well.
Well, I'm so glad to be here, number one, because I just learned stuff from both of you ladies. My background is interesting because I think I was always raised to do the right thing and stay on the path. And I did, or I thought I was. And I was doing all the right things and checking off all the boxes in school and in life and marriage and children. And it got to a point, and this is about 10 years ago, when I had some health challenges that just hit me one after another. There was a period of 2 years I went through just about every health challenge you can imagine. And I said, well, what is happening here? Not just why is this happening, but I had to keep going. I realized that I had to keep going. I could give up. Somebody said something about you could give up, and I was like, oh, is that an option? I don't think I can give up. I think I got to keep going. I think I got to get to following whatever doctor's orders I have for this situation and then move on to the next. But then they kept happening, the next one and the next one. And then I got pushed into early retirement. And I said, okay, now this is a lot of crap I have to deal with. And so when we talked about this topic, I said, oh, I know a lot about this, because life will keep coming at you. Life will keep hitting you. And you have to really be able to dig deep and have a strong resolve in order to keep going, because otherwise you give up. And I'm not about giving up.
I love what you said about giving up. And is that even an option, right? Is that even an option? Like, you know, only thing you have left to do is to keep pushing forward, right? And I love the way you said that. What would you say has been your biggest obstacle to date? What do you think that that was, and then how did you get through that? Because I know there was probably one that knocked you down a little longer than others. Because I know that for me, you know, I got knocked down and it took me a minute to get out. And you don't have to tell me specifically what it may have been, but you know, just how did that knock you down? What did that look like? And then what did that look like to come back and say, you know what? No, I'm doing something different.
I think the one that knocked me down the most was my body experienced a stroke. And this is easily 10 years ago. And after a stroke, I was hospitalized. I went into a rehab center, and then I was sent home. But even when I was sent home, I was confined to the house. That drove me bananas, because I like to get out and go. Being confined in the house, I couldn't drive. I couldn't go where I wanted to go. And so I found myself always relying on somebody, and you have to have a lot of courage in order, first of all, just to ask people for help and to find out who you can rely on and how far you can push that envelope. So I would say the one that knocked me down the most was that stroke. Now, fast forward, you might be able to tell if you talk to me or you watch me for more than 5 minutes, but I try to get out now and do every single thing that I want to do. That was an obstacle that I thought, or if I had listened to the initial doctor's reports, no, you're not going to walk any better than that. No, you're not going to be able to do those things you want to do. No, I decided that I was. And so I drew on all the resources that told me, yes, work with them. And here I am today.
That is so encouraging. And that really tells you that it is about mindset. It all depends on what you decide for yourself. And I'm so proud of you for being able to do that, because now you're able to tell other people from experience exactly what can happen for you. So also let's go to Carol. So Carol, I know that with your story, you've had a lot of ups and downs. You've had some things that you had to deal with. And I remember that when you decided to get out of corporate America, start your business, it was very, very difficult. And you had to really get out of your own way and get over your crap. So tell me a little bit about your background, and then also tell me little bit about what that looked like. Okay, so we're going to insert that here. Okay, awesome. So let's talk about our self-care. I know that we've all had or do different things with our self-care, taking care of ourselves and doing all these. So who wants to share about some of the things that some of your rituals that you like to do?
Oh, I'd be happy to.
Awesome.
So, we hear it all the time, meditation. Meditation for me is top on my list. Definitely a minimum of 5 minutes a day is what I tell people. Definitely make sure you just get yourself in a quiet space. It doesn't need to be anything fancy. You don't, if you want to download an app, there's some really great free apps, but that is definitely one of them. And also journaling. Journaling for me, taking 10 minutes to just, I say it's like a brain dump, right? Just write down whatever comes up for you. And after a while, it really becomes a habit that soothes your soul, I find. It allows you to just express what you need to express, and it allows you to just calm down. But the third thing, and especially, hearing from, these amazing women and what they have experienced, I think, especially as women, we are very, we're not quick to allow ourselves a moment of rest. So give yourself permission to rest. Give yourself permission to read a book for a little bit, to take a bath, go, whatever it is, whatever your version is. I really think that is key to your mindset, but also just really supporting yourself in living the best life possible.
I love that. Who else does meditation and journaling? Do you guys all do that? Yeah, it's such a great thing. I'm not the best at doing it. I don't do it every single day. But it's funny enough, I use it in my business a lot. So when I'm coaching, I use a lot of meditation in my coaching. Does anyone have any morning rituals that they do every single morning they do? Christine, what is your morning ritual?
Every single morning. And I really call this my spiritual ritual. I do prayer, but I also do a gratitude journal. Mm-hmm. Now, many people remember Oprah talking about the gratitude journal a while back. I have collected so many of those journals. I mean, and I can't let them go. I try to write down 5 things that happened the day before that I am grateful for. And sometimes they're really big things, like I found some money that I thought I lost. And then sometimes they're very simple things. Someone shoveled my snow.
Right. Which is a big thing, actually.
Oh, that's a big thing. That's a big thing. Sorry. Somebody shoveled my walkway. Yeah, that was a big thing. But it can range to be anything. But the point is to get up every morning and put myself in that space of gratitude, to recognize what I have been given, and it puts me in a positive mind frame. So I love that. I love the gratitude journaling. And
yeah, I remember you getting up early. You get up really early for your prayer group, and you've been doing that for years.
Oh yeah, because I've been on a prayer call 6:30 in the morning for 3, 4, 5 years now.
Isn't that something?
Yeah,
that's amazing. Who has a nighttime ritual? Before you go to bed, you always do something?
I do.
I do too. Yeah. Beverly, what's your nighttime ritual?
I like to make sure, and sometimes it doesn't happen, but now it's getting back into it. So I'm forcing myself. It's like, wait a minute, is to read. And if nothing else, just read one page, one paragraph, and it just kind of helps me go into that meditative state. And we talked about meditation. I spend on average probably at least 4 hours a day in meditation. And most of that's early in the morning, because for me, sleep is overrated. So if I get 3 hours or 4 hours of sleep a night, that's it. The rest of it's all spent in meditation, and grateful, So I do the gratitude in the morning. I usually do the gratitude at night, because I think that is very special, because the more you profess, how grateful you are for things, it keeps your vibration elevated. And so to do things that keep myself elevated in that higher vibration, that's why meditation to me is really, really relevant. And that's why I do so much of it. But it really, again, it makes that mindset stay there. And for me, nothing is an option if it's not moving you in a spiral upward direction. So, for me is nature too. Nature to me is a major form of meditation. And when you can understand what nature does for you and how it just kind of gets in your spirit, you can't be upset and enjoy nature at the same time. It doesn't work. So nighttime, I like my nighttime walks, to be able to look at the stars and the moon and things like that. And just, it's quiet at night. And again, that's a form of meditation. Most people think you have to be in this om or, and stuff like that. But anything that quiets your mind is something that's going to keep you moving. So, daytime, nighttime, morning time, in middle of the nighttime, it doesn't matter, is really be at peace with yourself.
Yeah.
And anything and everything that I do to take care of myself has to evolve around my personal peace.
Yes. So good. I love that you said that it doesn't really matter. You don't have to be in the om state, because I find that everybody is a little different with their meditation. I find that my best meditation is active meditation. Like if I'm walking, especially if I'm walking sometimes on a track, like if I'm walking around a school or something, there's nobody there, and I'm not preoccupied with looking at something on my phone or talking to somebody on the phone, and I'm walking, right? I will find myself slipping into a meditative state to where I just go right in, and it calms me right down. I used to run like that on the track, and I would just run and my head would be up because I know I'm just going around in a circle. There's nobody there. I would look up, and because it's all sky and I see nothing but sky, I would slip right into a meditation, and I could do that for an hour. And so I find over the years that I'm an active meditator. Like I have to be in motion, but some people have to be like lay down or sit down, so just find your way of doing it, quiet your brain down. I love that, Beverly. Well, ladies, I have enjoyed this conversation, and I know that my listeners have. I hope that you are thinking about ways of getting over your own crap.
Because there's a lot of stuff out there to get over, is it? And it never goes away.
So true. So true. So definitely, I hope you were inspired. Make sure you check out our new book, Women Who Boss Up. It's coming out in January. We're so excited about it. Women Who Boss Up in Health, Wellness, and Lifestyle. And if you are finding yourself in a situation where you're really like anxious or stressed out and you need some further help and you really need to talk to someone, we will at the end of this video, leave you some resources that you can reach out and talk to someone, because we want to make sure that you're always taking care of yourself, but that you also have resources if you need it. So thank you so much for checking us out, Women Who Boss Up. We look forward to meeting you on the next episode, but thank you so much, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Wow.